Hi everyone, my name is Kayla. I have a Bachelor of Health Science Naturopathy. I'm a naturopath at Kayla the Nurturing Naturopath. Welcome to my podcast awareness. And today I have Janine from Story Dogs joining me. Hi Janine, how are you today?
Good, thanks, Kayla. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Could
Mm.
you please tell us what is Story Dogs?
That's a great question. Story Dogs is a reading support program for primary school children. So that's really a very short description, but it's a program with a big difference. So we are a reading support program with a big difference in that we take wonderful dogs into schools and make reading fun for children.
Oh, that's so cool. And what is your vision?
Okay, so our vision is to make reading fun for children so they become confident, lifelong readers. So we believe that no child should be left behind in literacy. Every Australian child deserves to be able to read. We are in a developed country and we still have children getting to high school unable to read. So we've got a big job ahead of us, and we're ready for the to make it happen and help lots of children become confident lifelong readers.
Oh, that's beautiful. And what is your mission?
Well, the mission's very, very similar. The vision and the mission are very similar. We want to create a safe um, environment for the children to feel that they can relax. The dog makes that environment happen. So when they're with a dog, they can relax, they can gently stroke the dog, and then they can feel that they can have some confidence. And over time, their confidence improves. So it's making that space for children to feel safe, to feel confident, to have a go when perhaps they might not in a different space. So really, that's what Story Dogs is all about.
Oh, that's beautiful. And how many children would you say you help every week?
We calculated out, it is a bit of an approximate number, but it's a close to 2,800 students every week reading with a dog. So we're very proud of that. We've come a long way in the 16 years that we've been around, since 2009. So we now have nearly 580 dog teams all around the country, partnering with over 400 schools. So it's a great achievement that we've made, but also there's a lot of work to do. Our big, audacious, hairy goal is to be in every primary school in Australia, and there's over 6,000 of them. So, and we're in 400, so we've got a bit of a work to do. So, but we're very excited about that, and we want to help as many children as we can.
Oh, I love that. And what is the process if someone wants to volunteer?
Yeah, sure. So, volunteering, the commitment that we ask of a volunteer is that they commit 2 hours, around about 2 hours every week at the same time and the same day, and that they have a calm, gentle dog that they'd like to share with us or with the children. So, really, the dog, we don't train the story dogs, we leave that up to the volunteer. It's their own dog generally. But if their dog is calm and gentle and obedient, and also loves to be with children, so the welfare of the dog is really important. And if the dog doesn't want to be there, well, we're
Yeah.
not going to force the dog to be there. So the dog needs to love children, love being around people, and just be calm and gentle and sit on a mat and listen to a child read. So we often don't get too many working dogs because they'd rather be out in the paddock chasing sheep or cows or chasing a ball. So older dogs or breeds that are just more suited to lying around. And we give the volunteers some training on how to make the reading sessions fun, because we're not teachers. We just want to be there to have fun, support the child. So there's a little bit of training that we do with a volunteer, but we would love more volunteers. We've got a waiting list of schools that's around about 500 schools long. There are so many schools that want our program. So the more volunteers that we can get, the better.
Yeah, exactly right. That would be good for you guys. And how does how does someone sponsor a dog and how does it make a difference?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, dog sponsorship is one of our fundraising pillars. We are a charity, so we're a registered charity with the ACNC, and thus all of our income is through donations and dog sponsorship and school contributions. So, to get a volunteer into a classroom, into a school, it costs us around the $600 mark or so. So we don't want our volunteers dipping into their pocket. We want to make it as easy as possible for a volunteer to come on board. So we want to somehow cover those costs. So we give our volunteers a starting kit. So that's the reading rug, the books, the training, the all of the essential items, their uniform that they need to start in a school, and that costs money. So we asked to try and find a sponsor for the dogs. So the sponsors benefits that they get is that they get their business logo on the dog's vest on our website. They get visits from the dog, so they get a connection with that dog. So quite often it's a local business that is providing that sponsorship. So they feel that they're more connected to the community because they're helping children learn to read. So it's a great way that businesses can give back to the community. It's in comparison to other sponsorships or other expenses, perhaps it's not that expensive. $550 is where it's at, and we would love more sponsors. We've got about 87% of our dogs sponsored, so we're still looking for that last 15% or so. So we'd love more sponsors, and it's a lovely way to, as I say, to connect with the local school, the local community, and just do something that's nice.
Beautiful. Well, hopefully there's people out there that can volunteer and or sponsor you guys. So you can get, like you said,
Yeah,
the more schools help and more children reading.
absolutely. That would be brilliant. Yes.
And how else can people donate to you? Obviously, if they want to volunteer, they can donate their time or they can sponsor the dogs, like we are saying. Is there any other way that people can donate to you?
Yeah, sure. So we have just general donations because sponsorship covers the dog teams. The schools also contribute to the program, which is wonderful, and they support our leadership team, who we call our coordinators, and they look after a local group of dog team volunteers and support them and stuff. So our coordinators are covered by that. But there's lots of other expenses, as you would know, in a charity. There's all of our governance, and there's all of that all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes to make sure our volunteers are well recognised, well valued, and engaged, and things like that. So, general donations are welcome. And things like buying books, we can, if you'd like to donate some money for books, we can put your name on the back of the book and say this book was donated by. So that's a lovely way that is really an important aspect of our program, is really nice quality, fun, engaging children's books, because we don't use school readers because they're often boring. We want to make the reading sessions fun. So we actually select the books ourselves, as well as in partnership with the school. Often our reading sessions happen in the school library. So we've got a great selection of books there. But we give all of our volunteers 6 books to start with. So they have at least a place to start with the children that they're seeing. And so those books cost us money. They're new books, and they do get returned to us when a volunteer leaves and things like that. So that's one way of a person could donate to us to help us with our books. We buy reading rugs and all that sort of thing with the money. So yeah, we're always after any donations. We have our Christmas appeal happening at the moment. So if anyone wants to jump on our website, they can see that and help us help more children.
Oh, amazing. That's beautiful. Is there anything you want to recap or talk about that you feel like we haven't?
Absolutely, yeah. So I love speaking as you. I'm just prattling on here, but one of the big things I wanted to let your listeners know is the impacts of it. So we don't just do this for fun. It is a great program like that, and it's not as it is a feel good moment for the students, but we are a serious literacy program as well. So the volunteers see the same students each week. These students are chosen by the teachers, and so that volunteer gets to have a relationship with the student. The student starts to have the relationship with the dog, and they start just to relax. And then their confidence builds. So, what we're seeing in schools now is that students are quite anxious, they're fearful. And if you're fearful, you can't learn. You're just concerned about your safety or your, what's happening next sort of thing. It's not till you relax, have a few laughs, pat and stroke a gentle, soft dog that you can actually start to learn. So some of our students that we see are so anxious that they've shut down, so they don't speak at school. They're called selective mute students. So they might speak at home or in a safe environment, but at school, they're so shut down, they actually don't speak. So it's very hard for a teacher then to teach that student or to engage with that student because they've put up the barriers and said no. So our program comes along with a wonderful, shaggy, soft dog, and the student can sit there and just relax. There's no pressure on them. So our volunteers will read the stories to the students if the students are unable or not at the level to be able to read themselves. Our volunteers go, hey, let's just share this wonderful story. It's all about having fun with the stories and getting the meaning of the stories. And what we find is that after a few weeks, those students who don't speak to anyone else at school start to speak to the dog.
Oh,
And they
lovely.
start, we encourage them to whisper to the dog or to tell the dog if they like the story. And they start to interact with the dog. And by the time, term one's finished, term two's finished, they're actually reading because
Oh,
they
beautiful.
probably can read, but they're so emotionally shut down that they haven't been able to in the past. So our program just works with them, gives them time, gives them space, and they then become amazing, confident students that the teachers can go, great, you're a fantastic student in my class. Let's go and do all these activities, and they can participate in their education. So that's
Brilliant.
just one of our really good benefits, for the students that we see. And yeah, it just works.
That's beautiful. Yeah, because and the thing about the dogs too is, they don't speak, they just sit there and listen. And like you said, they can give them a pat and chat to them, and then, their confidence builds. So that's really beautiful and lovely.
Absolutely. The dogs don't judge. And the other thing that dogs do is for a student that is having trouble focusing or being agitated or whatever, what we get them to do is just stroke the dog. So they actually sit still for 20 minutes because they're with the dog,
Oh,
and
that's
so
lovely.
it makes such a change. You do that week after week after week, and they suddenly start to go, okay, I can relax. I can then focus on the words and the meanings and the book and have some fun reading.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's amazing. And for more information, should people go to your website, like you were mentioning before?
Yes, yeah, I think it's a wonderful website. I'd love other people's opinions. So yes, it's storydogs.org.au. And there's lots of information there. There's a volunteer tab that you can have a look at. There's some information about how to volunteer, what your dog needs to do. So there's a little video of the dog team assessment. So all of our dog teams get assessed by a third party. So they're dog experts, not by a story dog person. And that dog expert looks at the dog team as a team and make sure that the dog is happy and that the team will be safe in a school environment around the students. So there's information about that. There's information about sponsorship, and yeah, just to go on and read the stories that we've got up there from feedback from teachers, feedback from parents. Some teachers or some parents say, "Gosh, my son or daughter didn't want to go to school, but now." On a Wednesday when it's Story Dog Day, they're ready, they're keen, they're off they go. So, it
Yeah.
changes things like that too. Some parents report that their children come home and read to their own dog or their
Oh,
own cat or something like that. So, if we can get students to pick up a book outside of school hours, fantastic. That's what it's
it
all
is.
about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. Oh, that's
Mm,
beautiful. Well,
yeah.
thank you so much for joining me today, making us more aware about story dogs. I really appreciate it.
No worries, Kayla. It's been fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Thank you for listening and bye bye.